Thank you for joining me. I wanted to put something on the screen because I did not get video footage of what happened, what I saw with my own two eyes, and this has to do with a black man who was being followed in a grocery store. It was Kroger's, and I basically just stopped to witness the whole thing. I was shopping for items that I needed. I was going one way. I saw this man. He was really obvious. We knew that he worked for the store. You could tell. He was trying to act like he was just a normal person walking around the store, but he was watching just to see if people were stealing. And I see a lot of this more in predominantly black neighborhoods. Even though I live in a very family-oriented neighborhood, this still goes on. So I'm getting my items. We were going the same way, me and the man who was following the black guy. He had been watching him and he knew he was following him, so I guess he decided to turn the corner. Basically, I was going to go the same way, but I was going to go straight. I wasn't going the same way as the black guy. The white guy literally cut me off so he could follow him. But what he didn't know was the black guy knew he was following him. So he was there waiting for him to turn the corner. Because in my mind, when he cut me off, I was like, this asshole works for the store. I know he works for the store. And you're not going to let me go. Even if you're following someone, you're not just going to let me go. And so I stopped when he was confronted by the black man, so I could see and hear the whole thing. The guy who was watching the black guy, he was white, and he was startled and caught off guard that the black man was waiting for him. So the black guy, he says, "Why are you following me? Leave me alone. Stop following me. Let me shop in peace. Let me spend my money." And he said it loud. And then the guy, he didn't know what to say. He was busted, and instead of saying, "I'm not following you," or "I apologize," or even try and play it off, which he couldn't even do that, he turned around and he called this man crazy, and he called him psychotic, and he basically was talking to this man in a very nasty, disrespectful way. You're supposed to be a worker of the store. You're supposed to treat your customers with respect. But he was calling this man names, disrespecting him. In any Kroger's, you can see these signs that says preferred value customer. And this guy was not treating him like a valued customer. And he felt because the man was getting loud, which he wasn't being aggressive, he was just yelling really loud because he said he was sick of this ish. And he didn't like being followed, and to leave him alone, instead of leaving the man alone, he stood there and antagonized him and called him names and demeaned him. So the black guy, he just walked out of the store. He didn't get anything out of the store. And then all of a sudden, I see these security guards, like 8 of them, coming from the back for no reason. And then they were standing in front of the store. He left. There was no issue. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't trying to take anything. He wasn't trying to steal anything. He just left the basket there, walked out because he was loud and he was irritated. They had to have the whole, security force in the back come out. And I did feel like that was a intimidation tactic, even to the rest of the black people in the store, which was unnecessary because I noticed when the whole thing was going down, A lot of the black people were trying to pretend like they didn't hear it. They just kept shopping. Some of them were looking down like sad puppies and didn't want to say anything. So that's why I stood there in case something went down, in case this white guy wanted to do something. I stood there, I watched. And then, after everything was okay and the man was leaving, I went on shopping. But it started to irritate me and really get to me that it went that far, because this man asked him not to follow him anymore, and all he had to do to de-escalate the situation is turn his ass around and leave this man alone. But he didn't. He stood there in his face and antagonized him. So I'm looking at other people who work at the store, and they're taking up for this white guy. Other people are looking like they didn't know what was going on. And so basically what I do, I follow the white guy, who works for the store, over to the manager. Manager is black. I'm sure he works for, the uppers who are white. And then there were 2 black women and there was a white woman. So by his body language, you can see that he was caught doing something, following the guy. And the guy was not doing anything, and he was in the wrong, and he should have apologized at the least. But of course, really, do we really expect them to admit when they're wrong? Have they ever? So I'm watching them have a conversation, and he just needed the okay, the go ahead, and the acknowledgement from the black manager. And it wasn't the fact that he was a manager, it's just that he was black and the 2 women were black. And the white woman who was standing there, she was waiting, engaging the black people's reaction as well. So when the manager was laughing it off, and he said something to the effect of, "Oh, just because you follow me in the store, that means you're following me because I'm black." And he did the little laugh, the sellout ass laugh, and then the black girls were joining in, and then the white girl, she was relieved and she started laughing, and the white guy, he got his confirmation that it's okay for him to do what he's doing. He's good. I think that's what disgusted me the most. Not the fact that he was following a black person in the store, instead of just looking around at every person that could potentially steal something. And like I said, if you're black, you're a criminal, basically, in their mind. You don't have to be doing anything. And you're up to no good because of the color of your skin. Just demonic demons. I'm watching all of this go down. I hear someone who is a worker there, but they didn't even see what was happening. They were taking up for the white guy. The black guy actually asked, for some help from someone who was behind the counter, which was a black woman. And nobody would take up for him. Nobody would, tell that dude to back off. They wanted to throw him out of the store as to not to rile up all the other black people, which, again, like I said, they were not going to do anything. They just kept their mouth shut, put their heads down, and pretended like nothing happened. But I was watching the guy. I was so pissed off that initially I wanted to just leave my cart there and walk out. But I did get the little bit of stuff that I did have, and then I left, and I didn't further shop in there because I was going to be doing some extensive shopping to get what I need, and I was like, I just couldn't. And so I got the few things I did and then left. But before that, I saw him walking around again. I was looking at him. He was looking at me. I was looking at him like, I know you were following him. I know you antagonized him. I heard the whole thing and I saw the whole thing, and he kept staring at me. He could not look me in the eye when he first passed me after the incident, but he kept staring at me because I kept staring at him. And I knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. But this wasn't even the first incident with this guy. And I honestly believe he was the same guy who was watching me in the store. Possibly. Can't be for sure. I was buying cat food. I was, looking at the different kinds, trying to find what, my cat likes. And I can feel when somebody's eyes are on me. And I looked to my right and I saw somebody watching me, and they stepped back behind this little column as if I didn't see them, just step back behind. So I started laughing, and whoever it was, they went through the back way. But it's so, I swear, if somebody wanted to come up with a good scheme, I swear, just get the darkest skinned black person or a black person and go get like another white person, or an Asian person or somebody else who is not black, and they could clean the whole store out because they will be focused on the black person. But I found that so disheartening and so disrespectful, and I will never go back to that store again. And I will tell everyone about that specific store and what happened. I was off from work because I didn't want to hear the white people on my phone whining and complaining because the middle initial in their name is wrong. Because I work on a corporate plantation. And I thought I was going to be relaxed, get some shopping done, and here we go with this. Disgusting. So I'm going to leave it here. Let me know if you've ever had these experiences where you are being followed in the store. It's blatant and apparent. And let me know if there's any stores that you will never go in again because of the disrespect.